Hey everyone, this is Shiro and welcome to the very beginning of my healers only Genshin account. Now, you might be wondering as to why I'm just lounging around in my main account at the moment. Well, that's because I'd like to explain to you the rules that I've set for myself for this adventure. Also, I need to tell you about what prerequisites a character needs to fulfill to be considered a healer that's eligible to be used in the series. If you've seen other Genshin Impact with only whatever it may be accounts here on YouTube, then you're probably aware of at least a part of my rules, but definitely not all of them, as I've decided to do things a bit differently around here. Let me show you. Rule number 1. I can only use healers. If at some point during the game it's impossible for me to use a healer, whether that be due to it being the beginning of the game and there not yet being a healer available, or just because I'm forced into using non-healer trial characters, then I'll still try to defeat whatever enemies I might face without dealing any damage to them with a non-healer character. If that's impossible, well, then there's nothing I can do. I can only follow the path that the game's already laid out for me, consoling myself with the words, "You've tried your best." In other words, it's not game over, I'll just accept that the game forced me to do something against my will. Rule number 2. I need to open every single chest and collect every single collectible, like the elemental oculi. In past versions, some version limited chests were introduced, so I obviously can't access those anymore, but I can gather everything from this point onward. This rule is where this account will deviate most significantly from any other similar Genshin account I've ever seen. We can't just skip past parts of a domain whose puzzle we can't deal with if there's something in there that we have to collect. Instead, we'll have to wait until we'll get a character that can solve the puzzle or find alternative solutions. This rule will likely impact my account very little in the long run once many more elements and weapon types have been obtained, but it may just turn out to be a roadblock during the beginning stages. We'll see. Rule number 3. I'll need to complete all content in the game, except for Genius Invocation TCG and the Spiral Abyss. I personally don't enjoy that TCG much, so I'll only ever play it should I feel like it. As for the Spiral Abyss, time trials are really not my thing, and the Spiral Abyss is the worst offender in this regard. Even when I clear a chamber incredibly quickly with no difficulty whatsoever, I feel no joy at all. It's just not my thing. I'll probably end up clearing the Spiral Abyss anyway to save up more Primogems, but I want to avoid forcing myself into doing something that's just not enjoyable for me at all. Lastly, rule number 4. I need to start this challenge with Jean. This means once I unlock the ability to wish, I can't do anything else but do so and hope I'll get Jean. Yeah, I think you all know what's going to happen here. But why would I want Jean? Well, until Nahida's release, she was my favorite character in the game. On my main account, it took me more than 2 years to get her, so I really want to see what it would feel like to begin the game with her in my party. Additionally, I know that I'll be needing Anemo sooner or later, so there's that. With the rules out of the way, let's move on to what qualifies a character as a healer for this account. Whether it be in their talents or their constellations, the character needs to have the ability to heal other characters. If they can only heal themselves, like a certain Chief Justice for example, then they don't make the cut. To further clarify, weapon passives that give a character the ability to heal others will also not be considered, because if I allowed that, then I could just slap Prototype Amber on any Catalyst character and call them a healer. Lastly, artifact set bonuses that give a character the ability to heal others will also not be taken into account. Obviously. With all of that in mind, which characters can currently be called healers? Baiju, Barbara, Bennett, Diona, Dori, C4 Goro, C6 Hydro Traveler, Jean, Kokomi, Mika, Noelle, Chi-Chi, Sayu, Shinobu, Xingqiu once his first Ascension passive is unlocked, Yao Yao, and C6 Zhongli. Any characters that need to unlock an Ascension passive or a constellation to be considered a healer cannot be used until that is done. In other words, if I ever want to use Zhongli, I'll have to get him to C6. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Future characters that have yet to be released will also be judged according to the same standard. Should something beyond my expectations occur and a type of healer be released that somehow doesn't fit these qualifications, but is clearly still a healer, then we may have to return to this topic again. I don't expect this to happen, but we'll see. I filled you all up long enough by now, so without further ado, let's get this adventure started. I met an oddly familiar looking lady, picked a cuter twin, and chose a name for myself. Yeah, it's just what you'd expect. Before getting separated from my brother. After I woke up hundreds of years later, I fished a travel guide out of the water and spent 2 months becoming friends with her. Then I could finally take my first steps. The slime in the beginning doesn't even need to get hit by your attack to get rid of the annoying reminder, so it's a non-issue. Following my guide, I made it all the way to the first statue of the 7, where I'm faced with a problem. I need to use my elemental skills press and hold versions, as well as my elemental burst and get rid of a couple of slimes. Thankfully, I can just use my skills and burst on their own without damaging the slimes and then push the slimes into the water to make them drown. A short walk later, I saw a drunkard talk to his pet dragon and picked up the crystallized liquid that was left behind after disturbing them. On my way to the nearest city, I was stopped by a law enforcement officer because of my status as an illegal alien. Little Amber here is also where the first impossible to solve issue presents itself. I have to use Amber to shoot down the animal slime, and there is no way around this at all. Even killing our characters by burning the grass beneath our feet or reloading the game, as some other creators have tried, won't work. There is no other option, unfortunately. However, the next seemingly impossible to solve issue is actually pretty simple. There's 4 villagers that I have to eliminate. I can just lure or push them all the way down to the campfire in front of Lynn and let them burn. And no, I can't use Amber to light the campfire next to them. It's relatively simple to do all of this, but it took a very long time. About 29 minutes actually. It was honestly pretty fun to do this, despite how agonizingly tedious it might look. While getting introduced to Mondstadt, I get my first chance to sim for Jean, so of course I'm going to take it. A wind glider tutorial later, the dragon from before throws a fit and I find myself having to take it down with the animal juice that a certain bard boy has hooked me up with. So anyway, I started blasting. Impressed by my totally not dope performance, the Knights of Favonius invite me to the headquarters where I finally get to meet my first love. Right afterwards, the beautiful librarian flirts with me right in front of Jean, and our perfect romance is over before it could even begin. Let's try this again. I met a lady that I'm really tempted to C6 on my main account, pick the cuter twin, touch a statue of the 7, interrupt the bards and the dragon's reunion, and get discriminated against just because I'm an illegal alien. A dragon blasting experience later, Jean grants me an audience and yeah, no luck this time either. Of course, I won't give up here. I pick the cuter twin, interrupt the drunkard and his pets, blast the dragon, and meet Jean. Again, I pick the cuter twin, interrupt the drunkard and his pets, blast the dragon, and meet Jean. Again, I pick the cuter twin, interrupt the drunkard and his pets, blast the dragon, and meet Jean. Again, when I woke up, I was riding in a flower carriage. I just had a dream. I dreamed it was my birthday. Oops, sorry, wrong script. You get the point. I did this again and again and again. 107 times, in fact. At that point, I had to take a break because I simply didn't have enough time on my hands and there were other projects that I wanted to work on first. Every time I re-rolled, it took me close to 20 minutes to get to a point where I could wish. In other words, I had already spent almost 36 hours re-rolling. Thankfully, everything was about to change a month or 2 later. I noticed something that I hadn't even thought of before. There are 1,600 anniversary Primogems in the mail of every account. All those reroll accounts I had made got them as well, which meant that I had a second chance on all of them. So I logged into them one by one until finally, the fateful moment arrived. I couldn't even believe my eyes at first, but the temple only got better because I got Jingsha as well. If you're interested in some stats, then let me share them with you. In total, I did 1,900 wishes. As for the 4 stars, I got 107 Noels, 23 Xingshas, 20 Barbaras, 18 Razors, 17 Bennets, 17 Zhongyuns, 16 Fischls, 16 Ningguangs, 15 Sucroses, 14 Junglings, and 12 Beidous. Now, for the 5 stars. I got 5 Monas, 2 Deluxe, 1 Kuching, and finally, 1 Jean. Yeah, I honestly have no idea what kind of obsession Mona has with me. I got 3 of her within 16 rerolls. Maybe I should finally give her some proper artifacts on my main account. Lastly, I drowned once while I wasn't paying attention, and my game crashed once during this entire ordeal as well. In case you were wondering, no, I didn't do all those slime and hilichurl pushing shenanigans again every time I re-rolled. Once was enough for me. I didn't want to spend 4 times as long on every single re-rolled account. I'm not that insane. Anyway, boring stats out of the way, with Gene acquired, we can finally get on with our adventure again. But that will have to wait until the next episode. Thanks so much for sticking around until now, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, then I'd be truly thankful if you could leave behind a like and subscribe to this channel for more of this as well as Genshin lore related content in the future. My next video will be the first episode of Genshin lore misconceptions, which I mentioned in my La Signora Deep Dives outro. After that, the second episode of Healers Only will arrive, followed by, you guessed it, the second episode of La Signora Deep Dive. Well, those are my plans for now at least. Check out my community posts if you'd like to stay updated on the matter. For now, you can expect 1 to 2 videos every month. If you'd like to support me monetarily because you either appreciate my work or want to help me do more of what I love, I'd be truly thankful to you if you could check out my Patreon. And if you can't do so, I'd be just as happy if you could recommend my videos to anyone who might also enjoy them. Have a beautiful day, everyone, and see you all next time.
Please